Right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to SmartVersity Book Club. Today we are hosting Mr. Justin Kangwa. We will be reviewing the book that he has written, and today it's so exciting that we will be chatting with the author himself. I do have a book with me which speaks about the 12 secrets to becoming a go to confident speaker. From this book that I have a copy, just Mr. Justin Kangwa speaks about one becoming a great speaker and being in control of yourself, than becoming an exceptional speaker. And when you have the confidence as a speaker, you will achieve your intended goal. So about the book, if I can read this book, which contains, or the title, 12 Secrets to Becoming a Go-to-Go Confident Speaker, written by Mr. Justin Kangwa, and it was forward by Professor Stephen Samkanga. Those who know Professor Stephen Samkanga is from the University of, he was once Vice Chancellor at the University of Zambia, and the Director General at the Higher Education Authority. About the book, just quickly talk about the book. Mr. Justin Kangwa stated that good speakers feel great and in control of themselves, while exceptionally good speakers feel great and in control of others because of their hypnotic ability to exert influence on other people. Furthermore, exceptionally good speakers keep attracting attentions and get inundated with requests to speak on most occasions for money. I want to believe that speaking is something that we need to emulate, and is something that we need to embrace. Other people believe that there are speakers who are born, and other people believe that speakers are made. So there's a school of thought that believes that speakers are made and speakers are born. I want to believe that from this book, Mr. Justin Kangwa has been able to clear the perception either for or against. Let me mention that Mr. Justin Kangwa, he is a public, or I can say is a speaker, and Mr. Justin Kangwa has been practicing human resource management or people management. He's an entrepreneur, and he is a business consultant. As I invite Mr. Justin Kangwa, I will allow him to say, maybe I've left something about him. And before he gets into sharing with us the 12 secrets to becoming a go-to confident speaking, I want to ask him why writing about the 12 secrets to becoming a go-to confident speaker. And I will ask why 12 secrets. Now is revealing to us something which is a secret. Is it still a secret or not a secret? So, Mr. Justin Kangwa, anything that I have not mentioned, please, you can talk about yourself and why 12 secrets to becoming a go-to confident speaker. And you can share with us these 12 secrets, and we will follow up with some questions. Mr. Justin Kangwa, you are welcome.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ali Kingston Miller. I am humbled to have been invited to share contents of my book titled "The 12 Secrets to Becoming a Go-to Confident Speaker." Apparently, this is my first ever book that I wrote. After this, I've written 4 more to make 5. I will speak to why 12 secrets. I also speak to maybe just add a few more things that are part of who I am as we go through the presentation. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, we can see the screen. I will maybe request that you put it in presentation mode.
Okay. Just a minute.
No problem. And a disclaimer while Mr. Kangwa is setting up the screen or the PowerPoint, I mentioned that we are recording this program. So I want to believe that by joining this meeting, you consent me. I will upload the content on my YouTube channel, and perhaps Mr. Justin Kangwa will also share on his online platform. So thank you for understanding.
Okay. It's now in presentation mode, huh?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So what you see below my name there, just to clear some doubts, HON stands for honorary, and then F stands for fellow. I am an honorary fellow of the Zambia Institute of Human Resources Management. Simply put, I'm a life member of the Zambia Institute of Human Resources Management. And I'm also a fellow of the Institute of Directors of Zambia. Now, why 12 secrets? It's just a way of branding. The second book that I wrote after this one is also has the number 12. It's called 12 Case Studies in People Management. And the third book is titled 12 Keys to a Decent Retirement. So I have this 12, 12, 12, 12. It's a way of branding myself. And why did I choose 12? I could have chosen 10. There's something about the number 12. For example, a year has 12 months. Jesus had 12 disciples. We had our elections on the 12th of August. There's just something about 12. I thought it was a good number I could use on my book titles. Of course, going forward, some of the books may not contain this number 12, but I thought it was a good way to start branding myself. Now, I'll talk about why I wrote this book, I think in the next slide. So I'm a trained corporate governance trainer and accredited by the Institute of Directors of Zambia. I'm a human resource consultant. I run a company called Distinctive Consultant Services Zambia Limited. I'm its managing consultant. My last formal job was that of HR manager at the National Pension Scheme Authority. I served as HR manager from April 2009 to July 2031. July 2017. After slightly over 8 years, I made a decision to proceed on early retirement because my conditions of service provided for one to go on early retirement on account of service or on account of age. Age is allowable at NAPSA to go on early retirement. You can use age when you clock 45. I had clocked 47, so I qualified. I thought I needed to take advantage of that condition of service and do other things. I also served as president of the Zambia Institute of Human Resources Management from June 2015 to June 2017. I'm a published author of 5 books. I have served on a number of boards and board committees. I'm a TV presenter since July last year. I've been hosting and presenting a TV program called Your Retirement Advisor. That's on Prime TV. It comes every Sunday at 16 hours. And that's my mobile number there. You're free to call me anytime. My phone never goes off. Yeah. So in terms of presentation outline, I'm basically discussing each of the 12 secrets to becoming a go-to confident speaker. I believe that people can make progress, but if they have good speaking skills, their progress can even be greater. Most people have stagnated in their careers. Most people, I'm not saying all, most people have stagnated in their careers, have stagnated because they probably lack public speaking skills. So I think Mr. Muller showed us a copy of the book, and there are two versions there. The one on the left is the one that I self-published in September 2021. And then the cover changed to what it is on the right when the book was republished in the US. That was February 2023. The contents remain the same. It's just the cover, which was redesigned by the new publishers in the US. Now, before I wrote this book, I had made two key observations on public speaking. I'm now speaking to why I wrote this book. So you will notice that as I address you, I'll be talking to you in a way that will also encourage you to consider becoming authors. So before you can write anything, there must be something that is motivating you. You must be inspired by something. You are trying to solve a problem. You've seen a problem, so by writing, you are trying to contribute to coming up with a solution. So in my case, there are two observations that led me to write this book. The first observation was that because of my HR career, I had noticed that during interviews, many applicants and candidates struggle to articulate themselves. That's the first observation I made as a result of my career, my HR career. You find that somebody has a very powerful CV. You even know, you probably know about them informally, that they're very good professional in whatever area they are, but they would struggle to articulate themselves. Then my second observation was that during conferences, workshops, or seminars, I would see many speakers struggle to communicate effectively their message. You say, why is he struggling? Then I noticed that, that presented an opportunity in itself for me, not just to complain about people who are struggling to express themselves in interviews or complaining about speakers who would not effectively communicate. I needed to be part of the solution by writing a book which will be presented in a very simple manner to help those who are struggling to become better. Now, when I looked at those two, when I made those two observations during interviews and then during conferences, my diagnosis of the poor public speaking problem was that the problem does not begin on stage. That was my diagnosis. The problem of poor public speaking does not begin on stage. It is a multifaceted problem into three parts, which can be divided into three parts. And these three parts are mirrored in the book. The first part is that you need to know something before speaking, before you go onto the stage. What is it that you should know as a speaker? What should you know and do before you speak? Before you appear, you've been introduced. Would like to introduce Dr. So-and-so. Before you walk onto the stage, what are those things that you're supposed to know and do? So that's the first part, before speaking. Then part two talks about the things that you should do while speaking. You're now on stage, addressing the crowd, addressing an audience. What are the things that you're supposed to know and do whilst speaking? And then part three talks about those things that you're supposed to do, know and do after speaking. So this, like I've said, means that the book is divided into three parts. Part one, before speaking. Part two, while speaking. Part three, after speaking. Now, like I said, as a solution provider, I consider myself a solution provider. I will not just complain about the problem that people can't speak. I want to contribute to the solution. So in my book, I have 12 secrets falling under the three parts that I've mentioned before, while, and after, to help aspiring speakers and even experienced speakers become go-to confident speakers. Now, I say they are secrets because some people would have grown through their career. They could be 50 years old, 60 years old, but they still can't articulate themselves. So I call them secrets. How come somebody who's elderly, somebody who's 60 can't speak properly, can't communicate effectively? So there are these secrets which they don't know. But once you know them, they cease to be secrets. So before speaking, there are four secrets that I'll talk about before speaking. And the first secret is your content preparation. Secret number 2, your audience. You must know your audience. Secret number 3, you must know your uniqueness. In other words, don't focus on imitating others, no matter how much you've fallen in love with their public speaking skills. Don't focus on the goodness of others. Focus on your uniqueness, because each one of us is unique. Even twins, identical twins, born within 2 minutes of each other, they are different, they are unique. Each one of them is unique. And then secret number 4 is your clothing, your attire. So these are the 4 secrets that we'll later on discuss in detail before speaking. While speaking, there are 6 secrets that we talk about while speaking. Secret number 5, your voice. How do you use your voice? Then secret number 6, your rapport. How do you establish rapport between you and the audience that you're addressing? Secret number 7, your body language. They say actions speak louder than words. Your body language is actually louder than your words. Secret number 8, your likability. You must be likable as a speaker. I'm sure you've been to conferences where you say, I don't like this speaker. And yet you are seeing them for the first time. Then someone asks you, why don't you like him? I don't know. I don't just like him. Somebody who's seen just within a few seconds, you say you don't like him. So you must be aware that even you as a speaker, it's possible, depending on how you conduct yourself, you may not be likable. So as you speak, you must trigger likability. Secret number 9, your methodology. How are you delivering your presentation? How are you delivering your speech? What method, what approach are you using? Secret number 10, your emotional intelligence. Imagine you're on stage and then someone says, you are telling lies. How should you handle your emotions and the emotions of those that you're addressing? So these are the 6 secrets that we'll talk about that come under the part 2 while speaking. Lastly, after speaking, there are 2 things. Secret number 11, your participants' feedback. Find a way of soliciting feedback from the participants, the people who are listening to your speech, your presentation. By engaging the audience, some of them will be very unkind to you by telling you the way it is. Doesn't matter whether it hates you, but that will help you. Then secret number 12, you must conduct self-evaluation. When you go backstage or you even go home, you have that checklist. How did I perform? In what areas did I do well? In which areas can I improve? So these are the 12 secrets to becoming a go-to-confident speaker, falling under 3 parts. Part 1, before speaking. Part 2, while speaking. Part 3, after speaking. Now let's get into details. Secret number 1, I said it's on your content preparation. What you should understand is that your content preparation is your foundation. Imagine if the foundation of a house is weak, the house will collapse. So your content preparation is your foundation. Make it deep. It establishes your self-confidence necessary for execution. How do you do this? I have a key checklist here. It's not exhaustive, but in the book, it's quite exhaustive. The first thing is sometimes you may not even, they may just give you a title. Or they don't give it, they just say, okay, come and talk about public speaking, or come and talk about emotional intelligence, or come and talk about cybersecurity. They have just given you a theme. They have not given you a title. So the first thing you need to do in that case is that you have to formulate the topic that you are going to present on. or the presentation objectives. You ask yourself, what should be the objectives of this presentation? Once you've come up with those objectives as a starting point, convert those objectives to questions. If, for example, you are making a presentation on cybersecurity, and the first objective is you want people to be able to define cybersecurity. So you convert that objective into a question, and it will be something like, what is cybersecurity? So for all the objectives that you have identified, you convert them to questions. After that, you then begin to conduct research. How do you conduct research? You read books, read articles. You also depend on your personal knowledge and experience as part of research. Number 4, you then prepare an outline or contents of the presentation. Say, oh, I know my objectives. I've converted my objectives into questions. I've researched, because when you come up with these questions, they are the ones that will guide your research. You consult 10 books, you don't have to read each book, all of it. No. The questions, the objectives will guide which parts of the book you read. That's why you need to come up with objectives and then convert them to questions, because the questions will guide your research. Prepare an outline, the contents of your presentation, and then after you've done your research, you generate a presentation that answers the questions in 2. So the presentation that you're going to come up with will be tailored to answering the questions that you would have converted at stage 2. Okay, we move on to number 2, your audience. Your audience is always eager to assess your delivery and mannerism, always expecting the best from you, and thereafter disseminate its verdict to the world. Sometimes before the presentation ends, they have already started the texting or maybe getting pictures of you, and before your presentation is over, maybe your reputation or lack of it has already gone viral. Hey, we have a very boring speaker here. So be aware that the audience will be there to assess your delivery and the way you conduct yourself on stage. They want only the best from you. Because for you to stand in front of them, they want to think that there's something that you know, there's something that you can do better than them. Now, what are the assumptions that you are supposed to make as a speaker? These are the 4 assumptions that are contained in the book. The first assumption is that you must assume that some of the participants in the audience may possess very little or no knowledge of the subject you are presenting on. Make that assumption that within the audience, there are those who have very little or no knowledge of the topic that you are going to present on. Then secondly, you must make an assumption that some people in the audience are actually experts in the same topic that you are presenting on. They are experts, except this time it's you presenting, they are in the audience. Assumption number 3, you should assume that others or other participants could have already presented papers on the same topic within the audience. You have people who may have presented on the same topic elsewhere. And lastly, you should assume that some participants could have been part of audiences where the same topic was presented on by other experts or more experienced trainers than yourself. So this is about the audience. You think about this and psych yourself as you go to, before you ascend the podium. Secret number 3, your uniqueness. So your personal and professional uniqueness distinguishes you from the pack. Don't make an attempt to imitate somebody, because a carbon copy is never as good as the original. You should master and use your uniqueness to your advantage, because your uniqueness is your personality signature. So what is it that is unique about you. That's what you should focus on. What is unique about you? So thank yourself. What is different about me? And sometimes you could have been part of, maybe there was a speaker before you. You were even impressed by the way they presented. But ask yourself, what is different about me? And tell yourself, I'm the only existing version of me. Nobody can beat me at being me. I am the only one who can prepare this material the way I have done it. The same topic given to it. Secret number 4, your clothing. Here I'm saying your clothing is usually much louder than your words. Remember, as soon as you appear on stage, before you say anything, your clothing, your attire has spoken. Take note, do not overdress. You are going to address a group of laborers who are in work suits, overalls. Then you want to wear 3-piece suit straight from the laundry. That's overdressing. Because your dressing may detract people's attention. Don't overdress, but at the same time, don't underdress. What is underdressing? Underdressing is dressing in a manner that does not please people, where they think, no, the way it's not dressed, no, not this caliber. We expected a higher caliber. Look at the shoes. Okay, we know they may not be new, but you can't polish them, sure. Do not overdress, do not underdress. Number 3, you should dress to meet at least the minimum standards of dressing of the audience. I'll give you an example. Sometime back, a few years ago, I had the privilege to be part of a team that went to train Bank of Zambia managers. So the first thing I knew about Bank of Zambia, because at one time when I was working for NAPSA on Provident House, that's where we were, Provident House on Cairo Road, we were just next to Bank of Zambia. I knew how they dress at Bank of Zambia. Monday to Friday, they are in suits every day. So the minimum I could dress was to be in a suit. I couldn't dress any less than they were expecting or any less than they were dressing. For example, without a tie, no. I had to meet their minimum standard of wearing a suit. Number 4 there, I've talked about this. I've said your dressing should not detract the audience's attention. If you're a lady, you don't need bangles, earrings, those dangling, where they start focusing on your dressing instead of listening to your presentation. Secret number 5, your voice. Your voice may not be melodious. It's not everybody who has a good voice. You can even know my voice is not good. It's okay. Your voice may not be melodious, but you can tweak it appropriately to make the ears of the audience yearn for the message it carries. Even if your voice may not sound melodious, you need to tweak it in such a way that you should know when to shout, when to bring it down, when to speak moderately, when to whisper. Don't speak at the same level because you sound monotonous. Tweak it, change it. You know when to raise it, you know when to lower it. So take note of the tone. When we talk about the tone, we are simply talking about the feeling or the emotion that is attached to the voice and words. For example, if you say, I'm very happy, it should be felt in your voice that indeed you mean what you say. There must be that emotion, that feeling attach the voice that you're saying. I'm so happy. You have attached an appropriate emotion or feeling to your words. Then there's also what is known as the tempo. The tempo is simply the speed or the pace at which you speak. You know when to speak fast, know when to slow down. So be aware of your tempo, the speech, the speed or pace of your speech. Then 3, audibility. You don't want anyone in the audience to shout, volume, volume. Speak loud enough. Even if you have no speaker, speak loud enough. You can say, no, me, this is how I am. I don't speak. No. Be audible. Then lastly, think about the diction, the choice and clarity of words. What words are you using? In fact, in writing or publishing, there is what we call word choice. You must choose which way there are a number of, sometimes there are 3, 4 words which mean the same thing. But some of them could be appropriate for speech, others could be appropriate for written English. So choose the right words. Your rapport. How do you connect with the audience? When you are given to address an audience that you've never faced, I can tell you, it's not always a cup of tea. Sometimes it's quite scary. You go to Bank of Zambia, where the least qualified has a master's. Most of them have PhDs. And you probably only have a diploma. So you can be nervous. So how do you establish this rapport with them? How do you create that connection? Let me tell you how I did it when I went to Bank of Zambia as a way of building rapport. I looked at the audience. I noticed that I knew, I think 3 people. I said, Mwaka, you're here. I said, you know, Mwaka, when she applied for this job at Bank of Zambia, apparently I was on the panel that interviewed her for this job. Angela, I know you may not know me, but I know your husband, one, is a friend. Then I know that you are also in the same intake with my wife at school at Fatima. Okay. Oh, by the way, I had an uncle who used to work here, but he passed on whilst working in 1982. Already by saying that, I had established that connection with the audience. Oh, okay. Even if they had planned to boo you, to be unkind to you, make funny comments, the fact that you've established this rapport, this connection with them, they accept you and treat you as one of them, somebody with some connection to them. That's what we mean by saying you build rapport, some connection with them. Let me give a funny example. Imagine when you are still young, maybe in the 20s, you meet a girl in ShopRite, and then you seem to have liked her. You can't just say, hey, excuse me, my sister, I think I love you, I'd like to marry you. Can you give me your phone number? She will not give it to you. But if you say, hello, Charity, long time. I haven't seen it. No, my name is not Charity. Are you sure? No, you must be Charity. We are together at school. No, it's not. Okay, if you are not Charity, what's your name? Within 2 minutes, I would have known her real name and I would have obtained her phone number. So find a way of establishing rapport when you are meeting or present to an audience for the first time. So take note, say something that creates commonality between you and the audience. This is what you establish rapport. Number 7, still under while speaking, your body language. Your body language projects your state of mind and should ideally complement and confirm the truthfulness of your spoken words. Imagine you are saying, I'm very excited, but the audience can't see a smile on you. They will not believe what you're saying. In fact, you need to know that when there's no synchronicity or when there's no agreement or there's no congruence between your words and your body, people will believe your body. For them to believe your words, there must be congruence between your words and your body language. If there's no congruence, they will believe your body language. If you are saying, I'm very happy, but you don't look happy, they will say, no, he's not happy, he's just lying, because there's no smile. So say something that makes the audience view you as one of them, and then create some commonality. Now, speaking about still on body language, I just want to emphasize, when you are talking about body language, speech, according to Richard Webster, is written widely on issue of body language. He says speech is an excellent way to convey information. However, it's our bodies that convey our moods and feelings. In other words, when you say a word, it will convey information. I'm very happy. The information is that, oh, okay, it's conveying happiness. But the body, or the body language, is the one that will convey your mood, your feelings. This is the importance of body language. Still a bit more information on body language. In 1967, there was a professor called Professor Albert Rabian. He conducted 2 groundbreaking studies into verbal and non-verbal messages. Now, non-verbal is what we are calling body language. Now, these 2 studies demonstrated that 55% accounts for, as we are communicating, 55% account for our posture, our gestures, as we are speaking, our facial expressions, all that take up 55% of communication. Then 38% is what will take up the pitch, the tone, and the speed of the person's voice. Only 7% go to words. In other words, most of the communication is conveyed through our body language. Only 7% is communicated through words. 55 plus 38 is 93% body language. Only 7% goes to words. Therefore, more than 90% of communication comes from non-verbal cues, which are body language. Still on body language, Professor Albert says there are 3 elements of communication, and these are verbal, vocal, and visual. I'm just trying to emphasize the importance of body language for the benefit of everybody. 3 elements of communication: verbal, vocal, visual. So for your message to be believable, there must be congruence among these 3 elements. What you say, how you say it, and what they see in form of body language. There must be an agreement among these 3 elements for people to believe your message. If there's no congruence, they will not believe what you say. Instead, they are going to believe your body language. Yeah, I've talked about this. Now let's talk about likability. Your likability will depend not just on your appearance or the content of your presentation. Let me say this again. Your likability would depend not just on your appearance or the content of your presentation, but also on the way you conduct yourself, how you interact and relate with your audience. This is what will trigger likability. Now, in discussing likability, just for your benefit, there are 2 concepts that are quite closely related to the concept of likability. The first thing I'll talk about is known as the theory of transference. I think you've heard of the famous phrase that act the part. If you are going for interviews as a manager, you must act like a manager. don't act like a subordinate. So act the part. So the theory of transference is, let me explain it in simple terms without even reading this theory of transference. If you go to make a presentation, if it is so clear that the audience seems to have fallen in love with the presenter who was there before you, ask yourself, why does it look like the audience has liked him? How is he treating them for them to like him? Then you notice some of the things that he's doing. I'm sure that's why they like it, because of the way he's conducting himself. Try to imitate without losing the concept of uniqueness, which we discussed, but try to follow certain aspects of what would have made the audience fall in love with this guy. Then you find that the emotions that they had towards this guy will be transferred to you because of the way he treated them. And this is what is known as theory of transference. People will transfer their emotions about other people to you if you treat them the way they are treated by other people. This is what it means. Then the other concept I want to share with you is what is known as the Pygmalion effect. When you go to address an audience and you believe that this audience is very unruly, that belief will cause you to act in a way that will make them behave unruly. Let me say it again. Pygmalion effect means that if you believe that people are good, that belief will cause you to act in a way that will make people behave good. Conversely, if you believe that people are bad, just that belief will cause you, mostly unconsciously, to treat them in a way that will make them behave badly. So when you are going to address an audience, in spite of what you may know, treat them in a way that will make them give you, power has been restored, I can say. Treat them in a way that will make them behave well towards you. Think of a home situation where you believe that your child is down. Just believe that your child is, the belief that your child is down will make you ignore them. When they come with their homework, you ignore it. You don't help them at home. They go back to school, they get the homework wrong, further entrenching your belief that the child is down. But if you believe that your child is intelligent, they come with homework, you want to support them, do homework with them, they go back to school, they get things right, they will give you the behavior that you expect of them. So when you are addressing an audience, Pygmalion effect is very, very important. Regardless of how they may have treated the speaker before you, believe that this is a good audience, because the belief that this is a good audience will make you behave towards them in a manner that will bring out the good in them. Still, this is the last point. This is the last secret under while speaking. Your methodology. Those of us who have done teaching, or you may have done another course related to teaching, would have learned that people have different learning styles. That is how come when you are making a presentation, it is advisable that you have presentation aids. You have a flip chart, you have a PowerPoint. It's because different people in the audience will have different learning styles. So for you to cater for the needs of everybody in the audience, you must be aware of the 3 learning styles. The first style is called visual. For some, for them to understand the concept, they must see, for example, a diagram. They see a diagram, that's when they understand. They must see something, must see words on a PowerPoint to enhance their understanding. Auditory, for some, when they just hear, they've understood. They don't need to see. Kinesthetic, these are people, for example, if it's in a class, it's a small group, you have a workshop. You want to break it into groups, give them some assignments, some tasks to do. They must get involved. That's how the learning happens for them. So be aware as a presenter about these three learning styles and tell yourself that in this group, there are people with all these three learning styles, and I cannot use one style or one methodology to make my presentation. I will lose a number of people here. They will start making noise because I will not be communicating to them. So be aware of these three learning styles as you make your presentation. Emotional intelligence. Remember I said you must be aware of your own emotions and the emotions of the people you're presenting to. I was making a presentation in Mongo where I asked a question and then I asked everybody to give an opinion. So I came to this gentleman, I said, yeah, what's your opinion? The guy had the laptop in front of him. He was working whilst the workshop was going on. Then he says, I have no opinion. And he switches off, he continues working on the laptop. During the same workshop, somebody else says, no, sir, what you have said is not true. So how do you handle such? You need to have heightened emotional intelligence skills so that you don't allow emotions to take the better of you. Put your emotions under control. Do not allow your emotions to control the way you react. Even when somebody annoys you, don't fall for that temptation, then you also get annoyed. It will make you lose your balance in your presentation. So in terms of emotional intelligence skills, there are 4 key skills. Be self-aware. And when you are self-aware, you'll be able to self-manage. Social awareness stands for your ability to understand the emotions of other people. Like I said, Monga I knew that within there were people with 2 big egos. So I just accepted, okay, that one is probably, that's the way he is, that's how he has been wired. In here, I'm not supposed to put him down. I'm not supposed to embarrass him. I remember one of them said something, say, no, this, and then another person answered, no, but Mr. Kangwa said it. Another one said, yes, I heard he said it. Then that guy was trying to embarrass me, felt ashamed. So emotional intelligence is the last secret under our speaking. Now we have 2 secrets under after speaking. So secret number 11, which is the first one under after speaking, is your participants' feedback. Your participants' feedback helps you obtain objective evaluation of your performance. While positive feedback reinforces your current or past performance, negative feedback points out areas that need your improved performance the next time. So when you ask for evaluation, be aware that there are some who are going to say excellent, especially if you are saying, no, indicate whether it's good, bad, excellent. Some will say very bad. Your performance was very bad. Delivery was very poor. Others will say excellent. There will be all sorts. There are people who are not easy to impress. But by getting both negative and positive feedback, especially where people are giving reasons why they are rating you the way they are rating you, it gives you an opportunity to improve, work on the weak areas, and maintain the conduct that is being commended. So if you want to improve your public speaking skills, you must be courageous enough to seek feedback from your audience. Last secret after speaking, secret 12, your self-evaluation. Your self-evaluation must be comprehensive and truthful. It should be aimed at enhancing your overall performance, covering all aspects from preparation to delivery and the feedback received. So ask yourself, okay, how did I do my content preparation? I think today I didn't do a good job. I was in a hurry. Okay. How was my voice? My voice, I think, was quite hoarse. How was my clothing? I think my clothing, I would have wanted to be better, but no, I think, no, it wasn't up to this. So go through that as you do self-evaluation. Not self-evaluation is a necessary ritual that should follow each speaking engagement. So these are the 12 secrets to becoming a go-to confident speaker. Now, let me just share on this last slide the key benefits of public speaking. Exceptionally good public speaking, 1, gives you self-confidence. Number 2, it improves your self-esteem. Number 3, makes you an easy influencer. People believe what you say, even if it's not entirely true, but because you are so confident, they will believe what you say. You become an easy influencer. Number 4, good public speaking attracts other people's confidence in you and your abilities. They will believe in you. Number 5, good public speaking wins you recognition through, even when there's an election. It's very rare that you find somebody with poor public speaking skills winning an election. Maybe politically, if you have given them more money, they will vote for you. But mostly, where the voters are objective, they will go for somebody who is articulate. And lastly, good public speaking enhances the public's perception of your competence. They will believe that you are quite competent. Thank you so much, Mr. Ali Kingston Mwila, for the opportunity to make this presentation. I hand the floor back to you.
All right. Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. It's quite very informative. We appreciate now at this moment we can call for comments, as we can also look at those from his presentation and look out for feedback. Perhaps we can call for feedback, questions, comments from the participants at this moment. You are all welcome. You can unmute your mic, depending if you are comfortable to unmute or to open your camera. That's optional. You can mention your name, your question, and be brief to make your contribution. We start with Mr. John Mumba. Mr. John Mumba, you are welcome.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks, Mr. Kangwa, for the wonderful presentation. I've learned a lot of things from this. Now, I have a question.
Yes.
Normally in class, I'm taking an example of schools. In class, you find that most of the intelligent pupils or people are those who are normally very quiet. They're not really good at public speaking. Now, taking someone who is in that kind of a nature where they are introverts and not extroverts, how can an introvert develop themselves to be able to be effective public speakers? Thank you. That's my question.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. Let me begin by saying I wasn't born the way I've communicated. I was a very, very shy boy until I learned that the world is a harsh one. It has no place for quiet people. So when you tell them the importance of public speaking, the importance of being outgoing, the importance of being extroverts, human beings do evolve. You cannot always say, I'm an introvert, that's how I am. Usually people, in fact, when people are given feedback, transformation begins. Normally, people remain the way they are. It's those people who have not been given feedback or those who are adamant, who don't want to take feedback and work on it. So the first step in helping children, for example, or pupils who are shy, tell them about the importance of being able to articulate themselves, being able to stand in front of people, and the disadvantage of them taking a back seat, not being able to respond. In my case, I do facilitate HRR lessons with our HRR Institute's CPD classes. And when I'm facilitating and I ask a question, I expect everybody to give an answer. I'll mention them by name. What's your view? What's your view? There's nothing like, no, me, I have no view. No. By the time I'm done with them, sometimes I'll take maybe 2-3 months, I'm done with the class. By the time I'm finishing, those who thought they were introverts would have opened up. Because I put them in a situation where they know that in Mr. Kangwa's class to survive, you must make a contribution. I'll not allow you to keep quiet. So there are some people who must be forced to do something as long as it's a good thing. Compel them to say something. Even when you when you make smaller groups, group of five, usually what I'll tell them is that a group of five will say, one of them, as you discuss this question, one should be chairperson, one should chair the discussions. You must have another person who is going to take down the deliberations. The third person will present your discussions to the rest of the group. All that is aimed at ensuring that each person has an active role to play. And then at the end of the discussions, I'll say, okay, people should, let me have those who are going to represent their groups to speak. I make sure that by the time I'm done with them, if it's 2 months, 3 months, everybody who have presented something, it's a way of assisting them because I know the goodness of public speaking. All right. I'll even tell them that I don't want you to get disadvantaged in life. All of you, speaking is an art. At the beginning, I think Mr. Muida said there are people who think that public speaking, you are born with it. So I will tell you this, it's a trainable art, and that's why it is taught. I'm sharing this because I believe that it's something you can acquire, something you can improve upon, something you can adopt. There's nobody who's born a speaker. Yes, some people might be born with certain traits that make them more bold to speak. But even those who are born shy can improve upon their presentation skills. Thank you.
Thank you for that wonderful feedback. All right. If we can have a hand, please, you can raise your hand and we will come back to you. Let me pick something from the chat box from Thomas Tole, who is saying that wonderful presentation, keep it up. That's for you, Mr. Justin Kangwa. We have another comment from John Mumba, who said, when people are given feedback, transformation begins. That's from John Mumba. And then Mr. Grefford Mwase, he says, very help submission, Mr. Kangwa. That's for you as well. John Mumba again is saying, thanks. This has been a wonderful experience of mastering public speaking before, while, and after speaking. Thank you very much. That's the feedbacks from the chat box. Let me just pose a question as we wait for others to contribute. Since only one question was asked, I will put this question. I hope you will be able to recall. There will be 3 questions, though I mentioned that we should ask 1 question, but since there are no questions, all right. My first question is, how would you rate this book in terms of category? I know it's a non-fiction book. Now, would you say your book it's a motivational or it's an educational literature or material? And the next question I want to ask is, when it comes to like applying the techniques in presenting, which is visual, auditory, and kinetics. At what point, what length of time should you allocate to it? Let's say you want to meet all the people in the audience, and then you have time that has been allocated. Is it a must, or it's something that you can just craft while you're trying to make your presentation? And the last question, I hope you will be able to, but if you forget, you can always ask me. And then how would you respond if someone said, this book sounds to be like a manual for public speaking? What would be your reaction? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. In terms of describing what genre it is, people have said it's a how-to book. First of all, it's nonfiction, and it's a how-to book. If you ask me, I call it, or I describe it as a creative nonfiction book. Creative nonfiction book. Because when you read it, you notice that it has some creative aspects in it. I don't just say, oh, clothing, this is how you dress. I begin by a story because I want to engage the reader. So I tell creative stories as a way of engaging the reader. So that's why for me, I classify it as a creative nonfiction book. And then secondly, you are talking about the three learning styles. It's at the point of designing the presentation that you think about the methodology. So as you are preparing the presentation, you are going to build in the three learning styles to you are going to build in the three approaches to cater for the three learning styles. So it's at the point of designing the presentation. Not when you cannot think about it when you're already on stage. It's during the design stage, the preparation stage, that you know that you must cater for the three different learning styles. I hope that is clear. And then the last one, you said this is a manual. Yes, you can call it a manual because it spells out, I think, what you need to do. Most it focuses on what you need to do, much more than what you don't need to do as you aspire to become a go-to content speaker.
Thank you very much for that wonderful feedback. I have a copy of your book with me, and I have seen at the end of each chapter you have left, I think, some portions where you call it maybe reflection. And why did you decide to come up with this kind? Not so many books do have this kind. Maybe it's mainly they are some of those academic books that will have the part where you need to answer like questions, but in this part you just decided to leave some spaces where you call it some reflection. And as well as you talked about 12, I will also ask a question about 12 as well. So that 12 key reflections, what were you trying to achieve or help the reader with by adding those reflections? Thank you.
Yeah, by leaving those spaces at the back of each chapter, I'm trying to give an opportunity to the reader to put down reflections, because I believe that as you go through this book, there are some thoughts that will be triggered in your mind. So those are the reflections that you put down in the spaces that I provide. And also, this book is not a book that it will work best if you have a personal copy. You cannot, for example, use a copy that somebody else has been reading, because they may have chosen to take down a few notes at the back. And the notes that that Mr. Muila will take back, will write down, will be different from the notes that Madam Agnes Kalunga may choose to write, or what Fatima will write. So the spaces at the end of each chapter are meant for you, the reader, to take down those reflections that you'll be having as you go through the book. It's a fast read. It's a book that you can read in one sitting. If you are on a bus traveling to, say, Cobabelt in Ndola, and it's not you driving, it's a book that you can finish reading. And it's a book that will make you want to go back to certain chapters. You say, no, let me go back to that chapter. And deliberately, it's not more than 100 pages, I think. The reason is simple. It's the author's acknowledgement that people are very, very busy. Books are not the only things that are competing for humankind's attention. There are so many things. So my belief is that if a book is too long, most readers may not finish reading it. Make a book short enough so that when somebody starts reading it, and because it's engaging, like I said, it's a creative nonfiction, somebody wants to feel encouraged to continue reading until it's done. And I believe that the best form of advertising is the advertising that is by word of mouth. So if I increase the chances of people reading the whole book, I'm also increasing the chances of those people who have read the book to advertise it on my behalf. So the spaces are intended for you to take down your reflections, because I believed when I was writing that this is a book that will trigger certain thoughts as you read through. Thank you.
All right, I have noted we have run out of time. We normally end exactly at 21 hours, but we are gone by 15 minutes. Someone is asking how much the book, unless you have increased the price, but I will let the author to say the price of the book and where it can be found before I ask the last question. So there's a question from Mr. John Mumba as well, who is asking how much is
the book. Is 250. The book is 250. I saw the last copy I had, I think 2 days ago, but there's somebody that had given, I think 20 copies to somebody I need to contact. He stays at Justo Mwane. He's the one who has the copies that are remaining. I think 20 copies that I gave him. Okay. So it's 250.
All right. Thank you very much. Let me ask one last more question, and then you can give some closing remarks. All right. I want to believe there are few books written by Zambian authors on public speaking, but recently I saw one author, one individual writing about on public speaking. And we have seen today people conducting what is called masterclass on public speaking, where you will attend an event for, is it 2 hours, 5 hours, depending on the duration. And at the end of that meeting, someone is given a certificate of completion, of a certificate of attendance, that this person has mastered the art of public speaking. And some of the books that I've read, and I have, I think, Dale Koenig, public speaking. There's a book from, is it Carol, something, I've forgotten the other name, from on TED Talk. And there are many other books, especially from the Western side, but it's good that we're having books like yours, written by our locals who understands our local audience. But like you have put it, I think most of these great people we know, like Warren Buffett, he encourages people to do public speaking. The famous Barack Obama encourages people to study public speaking. Those who read Brian Tracy encourages someone to do a public speaking class. In Zambia, sometimes it sounds like it's strange for someone to say, why should I be going to be taught how to speak? But we are seeing people conducting masterclass courses, and there is this book. Now my question is, your book is going at 250. Master classes, they go depending, the prices vary. I've seen some that goes up to 1,500. Why would someone choose to buy your book at 250, not going to attend the master class that are becoming so popular around the city of Lusaka, and maybe to be extended to other provinces or towns in Zambia? Why should someone buy your book, which speaks on public speaking, rather than going to attend a masterclass on public speaking? Your thoughts on that one? Thank you.
Yeah, my thoughts are that if you read my book, you'll notice that the thoughts that are in there are actually buttressed by what other gurus have said, gurus in public speaking. What am I trying to say? Each time I've made a claim in the book, I have supported it with evidence from other gurus in public speaking. I think if you go to the last to the list of references, you'll find that as I wrote the book, I think there are how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 books that I read and which I've referenced. When I make a claim in the book, I'll quote what one of the gurus may have said about public speaking. One of the people I've quoted is a lady called Dorothy Leeds, who has written a book on a book titled Power Speak. Then another 2 writers have written a book titled Mastering Public Speaking. Another one, How to Use Tact and Skill in Handling People. So my book is well referenced. And when you get this book for 250, it's a book that will outlive you. You'll go through it so many times. It's like a reference book. You will have it for many years. You keep going to it to remind yourself of what you may have picked the first 3, 4 times that you've gone through it. It will remain in your household. Your children can go through it. Your sister, your spouse, your brothers will go through. So it's a goodbye. 250, goodbye. 1,500 kwacha for what is not a masterclass. I don't want to talk ill of people organizing that, but what I can tell you is that somebody once approached me. A number of people have approached me to say, "Can you teach me public speaking?" The first thing I tell them, because I want to be sincere, is that my suggestion is buy this book. It's only 250. If you read it and you still feel like you need more sessions, that's when you should hire me. Because hiring me, I'll charge you maybe an entire course, I'll charge you 1,800 kwacha. But before I charge you 1,800 kwacha, my advice is buy this book for 250. And I can guarantee you, after you've gone through this book, you may not need to hire me. I want to be honest and sincere. That's what I advise people, because I'm not after just making money.
Yeah, you are right. I like that kind of approach. I think it's so sincere, like you have put it. All right, now looking that we have gone beyond time, and I have noted a few individuals have dropped off, but what I can say is the participation, I think it was overwhelming, and we only have a few people who dropped off, and we should not take advantage of those who are on the call. Just your last remarks in just some few seconds to the audience, and I will upload this content online to those who have participated and those who will participate online. Your message to the listeners and the participants. Thank you.
Public speaking is a necessary art. It's not something you can wish away, because all of us, believe me, will find or do find ourselves in a situation where we are expected to address a group of people, either out of obligation or out of necessity. You go to a gathering and everybody thinks that you are the only one who can address them. They'll call upon you. You don't want to come and say, yeah, me speaking, I can't. Get ready to speak. Get armed with this skill, so that when they call upon you, you have no excuse. So public speaking is something that all of us should take interest in. Let's invest in it. It will pay you, and you thank me later.
Thank you very much. I like the last words where you have said you will thank me later. I think even us on this call, we are so grateful. Thank you very much for spending your valuable time to come and share with us these insightful secrets with us. Let me remind the people who have remained on the call that the knowledge that Mr. Kangwa shared with us, it's something that others are charging at a certain fee, and he offered this knowledge, his experience, just for free. All what we requested from you is just the time, and even those who will want to contact Mr. Kangwa, he shared his contact on at the beginning of this presentation. Maybe I can allow him while I'm speaking just to scroll on that page where there are some contacts, so that those who want to get a copy of this book can reach out to you so that they can get the copy. So let me talk about Smart Visitors. We are closing that we are a book club. We read different kinds of genre of books and discuss those books in a conversation like this one. And much more. Again, we invite a keynote speaker, someone who is an expert in a particular subject, to speak to us. We have one piece. People speaking to us on mental health issues. We have the issue people or experts speaking to us on investments. We have people who have come to speak to us on entrepreneurship and many other subjects that we aim to improve ourselves. Our focus, our aim is to promote the culture of reading, and beyond that, we want to inspire self-growth as individuals and as a community and as a nation. You are welcome to contact me so that we can add you on our WhatsApp group, where we read and inspire each other by reading different kind of books, and as well we encourage that you apply those books or the knowledge that you get from the books. So every first week of the month, we read and review a book, and on the third week of that month, we also get a keynote speaker speaking to us. So we will have Mrs. Hilda Nason speaking to us at the end of next month. And on the first week, I will advise who will be reading a book with us. So you are welcome. If you are not a member of SmartVersity Book Club, you are welcome to join this book club. It's a book club with a unique experience. So without further ado, I would like to say thank you for enduring up to this moment. So I can see the numbers to reach Mr. Justin Kangwa. It's 0977508350. You can contact him and get a copy of your book, of his book. I do have a copy as well, and a number of the books that he has authored. Let me mention that Mr. Justin Kangwa is my mentor. I have known him for quite, I think, almost like 2 decades, if I'm not mistaken. All right. Thank you for your time and good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.